Morning. We've got 11 games on tonight. Take three. Um, we're gonna soldier through this. Boston is 6-3-2, so we'll go ahead and just get right into her. 6-3-2. Boston is in against 6-4-1 Carolina. The Hurricanes, of course, should have a better record, but we'll get into the numbers as to why they've been having problems. Boston's scoring numbers are exactly the same as they were last game due to the fact that nobody scored against Montreal. Bergeron, 7 goals, 9 assists. Pastrnak, 10 goals, 5 assists. Marchand, 2 goals, 11 assists. Krejci with 2 goals, 7 assists. McAvoy, goal, 5 assists. Grzelcyk with 5 assists. Chara with 3 goals and an assist. And Jake DeBrusk, 3 goals for him. On the Carolina side of things, Aho, 4 goals, 12 assists. Teravainen, 3 goals, 8 assists. Michael Furland, 6 goals and 4 assists. Williams with a goal and 7 assists. Stahl, 4 goals, 2 assists. Fogle with 3 goals, 2 assists. Falk with a goal and 4 assists. And Martinuk on the board at 3 goals and an assist. And of course, Svechnikov is not on the board right now. They need some guys to get some more scoring going. And yet, when you look at the scoring sheets here, it's much more top heavy with the scoring for Boston than it is for Carolina. In net, Jaro Halak, 1.45 goals against, 945 save percentage. Tuukka Rask, 3.15 goals against, 902 save percentage. Rask is getting better. He starts every season slowly. I'm not sure why this is, at least last season and this season especially. On the Carolina side of things, McElhinney, 2.76 goals against, 892 save percentage. Peter Mrazek, 2.58 goals against, averaging an 887 save percentage. And it'll be interesting to see which one of these goalies gets jettisoned when Darling is healthy and has some starts and everything. They'll carry 3 goalies, is my guess, for a while. I say that, which means one of them is going to get put on waivers today. That's kind of the rule anyways. When I go, this is going to stay the same in the waivers trade. Okay. But it's going to be interesting to see how that works, because in net it would seem to favor Boston, and yet, because when you get into the numbers and everything, it really kind of doesn't. Shots for per game, 29.8 for Boston. They're allowing 29.2. Shots for per game, Carolina 41.5, and they're allowing 23.9. So because they're allowing fewer shots than Boston by 5.5 per game, the fact that there's a lower save percentage for their goaltenders makes it a little bit deceptive. Goals against average is far more telling, and goals against average is far closer to Boston's than you might think. So Carolina, just not allowing shots and taking a ton of shots. I think they're the best at both getting shots and preventing them in the league. I know they're the best at getting shots because they're on pace for a record. 9 power play goals for Boston, 7 power play goals against them, and for Carolina, 4 goals for and 12 against. So a -8 for Carolina. That is a big part of the reason why they're 6-4-1 rather than say 8-2-1 or 7-3-1. If their special teams turned it around, there's no reason that they can't be among those best teams in the league and push for a top spot in the East, because they're getting tons of shots and they're not allowing shots. So even if you look at them and you go, well, their shooting percentage is terrible, which it is, their shots against really low. So you can get away with taking all kinds of shots from all over the ice that aren't great. That shots against is fantastic. Road record for Boston is 2-2-1. The home record for Carolina is, or 2-2-2 for Boston, 3-2-1 for Carolina at home. And for Boston, you got to get better on the road. But they're probably the best of the 3 teams that I follow the most on the road, because we're going to get into one of the other teams I follow right here, which is Dallas. They're in against Montreal, and this is feeling familiar. Dallas is also top heavy in scoring, although that seems to be getting better. Sagan with 3 goals, 9 assists. Klingberg, 5 goals and 6 assists. Radulov, 4 goals, 6 assists. Ben, 4 goals and 4 assists. Spezza, 2 goals and 6 assists. Shore, a goal and 4 assists. Dickinson, 2 goals, 2 assists. And Carrick, a goal and 3 assists. Jamie Benn now with 8 points in 10 games. Ben always seems to tantalize you that he's this big offensive dynamo, and then it just doesn't really work out that way. He's a big, strong forward. He's a very popular guy, and he's worth every cent that Dallas pays him. However, he does tend to go cold at times. On the Montreal side of things, Max Domi, 5 goals, 6 assists, leads the way. Petrie, who is a surprise, looking at my video yesterday about hot starts and cold starts. I could have had Petrie from Montreal, but completely completely vindicated by that. A goal and 8 assists. Jonathan Drouin, 3 goals, 5 assists. Tatar has the same. Gallagher, 6 goals and an assist. Byron, 4 goals, 3 assists. Arturi Lehkonen, a goal and 6 assists. And Philippe Danault, a goal and 4 assists for Montreal. If Danault could, have his scoring just a little bit more than what it is right now, Montreal will probably be happy. But as it stands, I think they're pretty happy with what they have. 12 games into the season, Tatar with 8 points. That's right about where you want him. Honestly, that's right about where you want him to be. And Montreal's doing pretty well. In net, Dallas, Bishop, 2.42 goals against, 917 save percentage. Hudobin, 3.02 goals against average, and an 898 save percentage. On the Montreal side of things, Carey Price, 2.13 goals against, and a 922 save percentage. Niemi, 3.26 goals against, and an 898 save percentage. Niemi's numbers don't look great, but you know what? He's had his share of wins in the games he appeared in, and now Price is back, and Price looks like, Carey Price again. Now, whether he's, Vezina destined or anything like that, I think sometimes Montreal fans get too fixated on whether or not he's the ultimate best, and don't just see that he's an excellent goaltender. And really, when you look at the pressure the Montreal Canadian players are under, he performs very well under that pressure. Shots for and against, Dallas shoots 33.5 times per game. They allow 29.3. On the Montreal side of things, they shoot 31.5 shots per game and allow 29 per game. Power plays, Dallas scores 8 power play goals this season. They allow 4 so far this season. Montreal scores 7, and they've allowed 8. So their special teams are right about a saw-off. Dallas' special teams a little better, but we'll see what happens tonight, right? On the road, Dallas is 0-3. I know. Montreal's 4-1. I know that one too. Montreal's been very good at home. Dallas has been Dallas on the road. It's reminiscent of last year, and it's got to change. I am not betting on it changing tonight. There may be some very confident Dallas fans who see that changing tonight. I don't know that I do. And it is this road record that makes me very nervous about Dallas this year, to be completely honest. Next up. The Ottawa Senators are 4-4-2, and they are continuing this respectable start. Far more respectable than we might have expected. They are in against the very respectable 5-5 Arizona Coyotes. A Coyotes team that has to see that tonight they have a chance to do something very unusual for an Arizona team. They could be above 500 and suddenly in the conversation as a potential playoff team. That would be fantastic. And that's taking from a guy whose preseason predictions would completely go out the window. Kind of sort of have anyways. But if Arizona ends up above 500, ends up somehow in the playoffs, I would be ecstatic about that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Shabbat, 3 goals, 10 assists, is your leader for the Ottawa Senators, followed by Duchesne, 4 goals, 7 assists, Chris Tierney, 2 goals, 8 assists, Stone with 4 goals and 4 assists, Dzingel, 4 goals, 3 assists, Lajoie, 4 goals, 3 assists, Tkachuk with 3 goals and 3 assists, and there's White with 2 goals and 4 assists to round out the scoring for the Ottawa Senators. On the Arizona side of things, yeah, they have scoring now. This is so weird. Keller, 5 goals, 2 assists. Hinostroza, my boy Vinny, 3 goals, 3 assists. I always cheer when he scores. It's funny. There's some certain guys I cheer when they score. I need to do a video on that. These guys score, I'm cheering somewhere. Stepan's next up with a goal and 4 assists. He's finally got a goal on the board, so maybe that'll get him to start scoring more because he's had a ton of shots. Ekman Larson with 5 assists. Fisher with 4 goals. Grabner 2 goals and 2 assists, which is tied with Brad Richardson. Nice to see Richardson off to a decent start to the season as well. Osterley with a goal and 3 assists rounds things out for Arizona. A team of kind of with that misfits. It's sort of like Vegas last year is kind of how Arizona feels to me this year. There's a lot of misfits on that team. A lot of guys who other teams said, yeah, we don't really want them. You look at it, there's a lot of that. In net, Anderson, 3.54 goals against average and a 908 save percentage. It feels like they're going to play Anderson too much this year for Ottawa. And I think maybe it's Condon. Condon, 5.02 goals against and an 828 save percentage. Maybe it's a matter of they don't feel like they have any faith in the backup. On the Arizona side of things, Ronta, 2.13 goals against, 921 save percentage. And Darcy Kemper, 1.34 goals against, 957 save percentage. There is no problem in net in Arizona. None. Shots for and against, well, this is where you start to see which one's actually playing well and which one isn't. If shots for and against matter, some people are going to say it doesn't. That's fine. Ottawa, 28.0 shots per game. They're allowing 37.9. Arizona's shooting 34.0 and allowing 28.2. If you get into special team scoring, Ottawa's scored 8 power play goals. They've allowed 11. The Arizona Coyotes have scored 3 times on the power play. They've allowed 3 power play goals. So while they don't score a lot in Arizona, coming up until that Tampa Bay game where they score 7, right? They don't allow a lot either. They really don't. On the road, Ottawa's 1-2-1, and at home, Arizona's 2-2. They started the season 0-2. They didn't score a goal in either game. They were the butt of all the jokes again, and now they seem to have turned it around. So we'll see if they can maintain that. Tonight's kind of a test for them because Ottawa's a team that I'm trying to think back to like the last time I looked at a game and I said, yeah, Ottawa should win that, or Arizona should win that. It's so hard to picture it. I can't even say it. Arizona should win. That's a game. Arizona should. It just sounds so weird to me. But we'll see tonight if they win a game that Arizona should win. They should win. Should. I'm this close to Manuel from Faulty Towers, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next game. I will get your will. No, I did it. Rangers, San Jose. The Rangers 3-7-1, and of course their last game was a loss to the LA Kings. They made LA look pretty good, so hopefully LA gave them a nice Halloween gift bag on the way out the door, because the Rangers made them look pretty good. And they're in against San Jose, a team that, San Jose I'm keeping an eye on because I don't know that they've established themselves as a contender, but they're 6-3-2. And if they win this one tonight, which they should against the Rangers, against the game you should win, they're 7-3-2, and then we can start talking about how, they should win the division. But if they lose and a couple other teams win, we can talk about how close that division is, and people are going to talk about how lousy that division is. Scoring. Zibanejad leads the way for the Rangers with 5 goals, 4 assists. Zuccarello, 2 goals and 6 assists. The battle of the Zeds at the top of this board. Kreider, 4 goals, 3 assists. Howden with 2 goals, 4 assists. Pionk with 6 assists. Buchnevich, 3 goals, 2 assists. Fast with a goal and 4 assists. And then D'Angelo gets on the board now with a goal and 3 assists in only 3 games played. Anthony D'Angelo, if this guy really gets it going, if this isn't just a false start, if he can really get this going, he could be a very good defenseman for the New York Rangers. He could be one of those ace-in-the-hole type players. On San Jose's side of things, Couture leads the way with 6 goals, 7 assists, followed by Burns with 2 goals, 11 assists. Meyer, 8 goals and 4 assists. He's been stellar. Hurdle, not to be outdone, 4 goals, 8 assists. Kane with 4 goals, 6 assists. Donskoy with 3 goals, 5 assists. LeBanc with a goal and 6 assists. And Erik Karlsson is on the board with 7 assists. In net, New York Rangers, Henrik Lundqvist, 2.77 goals against, 917 save percentage. Georgiev, 4.56 goals against, and an 883 save percentage. On the San Jose side of things, Jones, 2.64 goals against average, 899 save percentage. Martin, I know you've got to be watching, right? You can get your save percentage over 900. I believe in you. I don't like seeing 899 two games in a row here. He saved 27 out of 30 the last game. It's just absolutely just brutal. Get over 900, get that confidence going, and there you go. Dell, 2.59 goals against, 921 save percentage. Shot numbers. New York's taking 31 shots per game. They're allowing 34.9, which is negative. But when you look at it, there's other teams that have a better record, like Ottawa, who have a more negative number that way. So maybe the Rangers are playing better than what their record shows, and eventually it'll even out a bit for them. On the San Jose side of things, they're shooting 37.7 shots per game, which is really high. If not for these freaks in Carolina, the amount of shots they're putting up, we'd be talking about San Jose and their shot numbers. But nah, Carolina. They're allowing 28.4 shots per game in San Jose. Special teams numbers. New York scored 7 power play goals. They've allowed 10. San Jose scored 9 power play goals. They've allowed 6. On the road, this is where it's dead man walking. The New York Rangers are 0-4-1. At home, San Jose's only played 3 games at home so far this year, and they're 2-1 in those 3 games. So maybe an extended time at home can get San Jose going. We'll see. Maybe evening out that record will get San Jose up to a really contenderish looking number. We're not there yet, though. Next up is Vegas. Vegas is 5-5-1. So they're in against Nashville, which is an interesting game because Nashville's 8-3. But Nashville's coming off that huge loss to Edmonton. So is Nashville going to come out tonight with a chip on their shoulder, something to play for, and kind of angry? Is Vegas going to come out and play a Vegas style of hockey and even their record on the road? This is where we find out. Scoring, Marchessault leads the way with 6 goals, 5 assists. Of course, he had the overtime penalty shot winner in the last game. Carlson, 3 goals, 6 assists. Smith, 2 goals, 3 assists. Cody Eakin, 3 goals and an assist. And of course, he's out with a upper body injury. It's called a concussion. At least that's what I've heard. The last I heard is that he was unlikely to play in this game tonight. Howla, 1 goal, 3 assists. Reeves, 3 goals. Tuck, 2 goals and an assist. And Holden with 3 assists. So Vegas, there's not a lot of scoring there considering they're 11 games in. But you know what? They're still at 500. 5 wins, 5 losses, 500. Now they need to get above that and start putting some wins together because that's kind of the expectation in year 2. At least for Vegas fans, for fans outside of Vegas, it's just gonna fall apart. They suck. Not entirely, but that's kind of how the stereotype is. Nashville side, Forsberg 10 goals, 4 assists. Johansson 2 goals, 11 assists. Arvidsson 7 goals, 4 assists. PK Subban 2 goals, 7 assists. Ekholm 2 goals, 6 assists. Turris with 2 goals and 6 assists. Ellis with 6 assists, and Smith with 4 goals and an assist. In net, Marc-Andre Fleury, 2.49 goals against, 897 save percentage. That save percentage is low, comparatively speaking, especially with last year. While we talk a lot about the scoring, and rightfully so, that the scoring hasn't been what it was last year, Fleury hasn't been the wall this year that he was last year either. He's working on getting that back, but there's some stops and starts along the way. Subban still sitting with a 2.71 goals against and an 871 save percentage. On the Nashville side of things, Saros with a 2.73 goals against, 912 save percentage. Rinne, 2.10 goals against, 929 save percentage. Saros is a good goaltender. Rinne's a great goaltender. And I think that difference is still apparent in the numbers and apparent in the play, even though Saros has played well in the absence of Rinne so far. Shots for and against. Vegas is shooting 35.1 shots per game and only allowing 24.1. So their defense is almost as tight as that of Carolina's. The Nashville Predators, kind of even. Considering their record, it's kind of surprising it's even. 30.6 shots for per game, 30.5 shots against per game. That 0.1 shot makes them 8-3? No. Great goaltending will get you to 8-3. That's what happens there. Vegas, special teams, they've scored 4 power play goals. They've allowed 6. Nashville has scored 6 power play goals. They've allowed 9. So both teams in the negative. That could be telling tonight which one has their special teams going, which one doesn't. In this case, I wouldn't be surprised if they both go 0 for 4. Vegas is 2-3 on the road this year. And Nashville's surprisingly 3-3 at home. Yeah, it's odd. Really, really odd. Some teams at home, they feel that extra pressure, squeeze the stick a little harder, and it's a little bit more difficult to make those plays. And we'll see what happens tonight because this is one of those games. This is kind of a prove-it game for both teams. Nashville needs to prove that this fast start wasn't just a fast start, that they're still that quality team that won the President's Trophy last year. And for Vegas, they need to prove that they're not really in free fall and that they're capable of getting above 500 and doing some damage against a team that most people see as a contender. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that one. And next up, we've got Calgary. The Calgary Flames are in against Buffalo. Flames 6-5-1 after that win in Toronto. Now they move on to Buffalo, who are 6-4-1. And Buffalo right now, probably more confident and loose than what Toronto looked like last night. And Buffalo might be on the verge of getting into not just being part of the playoff conversation, but questions of just how good are these guys. Gaudreau leads the way in scoring for the Calgary Flames with 5 goals, 10 assists. Tkachuk, 4 goals, 9 assists. Lindholm, 8 goals and 4 assists. Monahan, 5 goals, 7 assists. He looked good last night. Giordano with a goal and 9 assists. Backlund, a goal and 5 assists. Frolik with 5 goals. And Brody with 4 assists. TJ Brody, the guy that I really think does need a change of scenery. I do. On the Buffalo side of things, Skinner with 6 goals and 6 assists. Eichel with 3 goals and 8 assists. Pominville with 5 goals and 4 assists. Okposo, 3 goals, 4 assists. McCabe with a goal and 6 assists. Reinhart, a goal and 5 assists. Sherry with 3 goals and 2 assists. And Ristolainen with a goal and 3 assists. Now, it'll be interesting to see how long Pominville and Skinner can keep this hot streak going. Skinner's a streaky player. Pominville's a streaky player as well. So it'll be interesting to see if, when that hot streak ends, where else will the scoring come from for Buffalo? So that's going to be an interesting story, and that's just beginning to get written. Smith, 3.55 goals against, 878 save percentage. He's getting better. He is. He looked pretty good in Toronto last night. He's getting better. Riddick, I would expect to get the start because it's a back-to-back. 2.37 goals against, 933 save percentage. On the Buffalo side of things, Hutton, 3.07 goals against, 905 save percentage. Lars Ullmark, much less like Superman, more like a human at this point, 2.00 goals against, 935 save percentage. He was at 0.50 and 982 before his last game. Shots totals, Calgary's getting 31.8 shots per game. They're allowing 31.2. Buffalo is shooting 30.5 per game, and they're allowing 31.6. So a little bit negative here, a little bit positive here. Really kind of a wash. Special teams, Calgary scored 8. They've allowed 12 power play goals. Buffalo scored 9, and they've allowed 8. Road record for Calgary's 4-3. Home record for Buffalo's 3-2. Whoever you think's going to win this battle, you're a step ahead of me if you think you've got this figured out. Calgary's so inconsistent that they can lay an egg at home against Pittsburgh and then go in and beat Toronto in Toronto. And Buffalo, much the same. They can look really, really, in the same game, they can look great and bad. So for me, I don't have a clue with this one. This is going to be a very interesting game. I may end up watching that one. That may be the one that I end up picking out of the night. The Islanders, 5-4-1 against the Penguins, 6-1-2. Wouldn't be surprised if I end up watching that one, though, either. Pittsburgh is very entertaining. And the Islanders have actually been surprisingly entertaining as well. The Islanders are 5-4-1. Don't look now. The Islanders are above 500. Pittsburgh 6-1-2, of course, after running through Western Canada and making Western Canada look like, well, this is not unusual. Last year, Western Canada was very accommodating to road teams. And what they did on the road, going through Edmonton, Calgary, and then Vancouver, it just felt like last year all over again. Scoring-wise, Anders Lee leads the way for the Islanders with 4 goals, 7 assists. Justin Bailey with 2 goals and 9 assists. Barzal, a goal and 9 assists for him. Nelson, 5 goals and an assist. Filppula with 4 goals, 2 assists. Cizikas, 3 goals, 2 assists. Ladd with 2 goals, 3 assists. Mayfield with a goal and 4 assists. I'm always surprised with Barzal at how few goals he has. To me, it looks like he could probably score 30 or 40. Maybe he'll be this generation's Henrik Sedin. A guy, yeah, he could probably score 30 or 40, but he chooses to pass first. Adam Oates was another one. He's remembered for his passing, but he had a really solid wrist shot. Pittsburgh, Malkin, 5 goals, 13 assists. Kessel, 7 goals, 7 assists. Crosby with 5 goals, 7 assists. Letang, 4 goals, 7 assists. Jake Gensel, 5 goals, 2 assists. Hornquist, 4 goals and 2 assists. Simone with a goal and 5 assists. And Alexiak is still on the board with 3 goals and 2 assists. What's going on with Jamie Alexiak is one of your top scorers. And why couldn't Dallas get this out of him? I'm going to do a video at some point on the defensemen that Dallas has handed away. And it's an interesting list because when you look at what they have and you look at what they've given away, it's an interesting list. We'll just put it that way. In net, Robin Lehner, 2.39 goals against and a 929 save percentage. He's been fantastic. And not to be outdone is Thomas Greiss, 2.21 goals against and a 934 save percentage. Matt Murray has put his season back together, 3.37 goals against and a 909 save percentage. Considering the early numbers for him, those are excellent. DeSmith, 1.95 goals against, 939 save percentage. He got the shutout against Vancouver on Saturday, and now he moves on and gets to play a little more of a high-octane team with the Islanders, I think, than what Vancouver is. I mean that. Not as an insult to Vancouver, but because I think there's more weapons offensively for the Islanders. And we'll see. We'll see. I would imagine it'll be Murray tonight, but it'd be interesting to see if they go with the Smith because he had the shutout. It's not really a thing anymore, though. It used to be. If a goalie has a shutout one night, he has to play the next game. Well, he had a shutout. Shot differentials. The New York Islanders are only generating 25.7 shots per game. They're allowing 33.7. Pittsburgh's generating 31.2 shots per game. They're allowing 35.6. So a lot of shots against for both teams. This could be a very high-flying game. Special teams, the Islanders have scored 7 power play goals this year. They've allowed 6. Pittsburgh has scored 7 power play goals. They've allowed 3. The Islanders are 4-3 on the road. Pittsburgh is 2-1-1 at home. So Pittsburgh, not great in Pittsburgh, but pretty solid on the road. But again, that's Western Canada, so maybe take that with a grain of salt. But this could be a very entertaining game tonight. Next up, Detroit, hot off of a win against Dallas. I've mentioned that teams that I cheer for aren't really making me all that happy right now, except Vancouver. Vancouver is playing pretty well. I'm pretty proud of them. Boston and Dallas could probably learn a thing or two with Vancouver, and it's not record. It really does come down to that effort, that consistency, and even though yes, Vancouver's laid some eggs along the way, that's just that effort is there. I don't think that the talent to make the playoffs is there for Vancouver, but the effort is, and effort's really what matters to me, as much as anything. On the Detroit side of things, with scoring, Larkin 4 goals, 5 assists, Nyquist with a goal in it, 7 assists. Bertuzzi has 3 goals and 3 assists this year. Cholowski with 2 goals, 4 assists. Athanasiou 4 goals and 2 assists for him. Nielsen has 6 assists. Vanek and Mantha both have 2 goals and 2 assists. So Thomas Vanek, who's not scoring the way that maybe they wanted him to, at least there's some points starting to get on the board for him. Maybe he'll get hotter. On the Columbus side of things, Panarin 5 goals, 10 assists. Atkinson 6 goals, 5 assists. Werenski 2 goals, 6 assists. Foligno 3 goals and 4 assists. Same with Dubois. Anderson 5 goals and an assist. Duclair 4 goals, 2 assists, and Wenberg with 5 assists. Howard in net, I would imagine, plays tonight. He has a 3.07 goals against, 913 save percentage. Bernier, who beat Dallas, 4.21 goals against average, 861 save percentage. Those numbers are bad. They're nowhere near as bad as they were before the game against Dallas. On Columbus' side, there might be a good chance there's free curly fries in your future if you live in Michigan. Korpisalo, 3.46 goals against, 897 save percentage. Bobrovsky, 3.87 goals against, and an 872 save percentage. And I have not verified whether the curly fries is only on home games or if it's on road games as well. But either way, they may score 3 because both Bobrovsky and Korpisalo are allowing well above 3 goals per game. Bobrovsky really needs to start tightening things up and get it together, because otherwise his dreams of being an $11 million a year goaltender, if that rumor is true, he may not make $11 million for the whole duration of a contract, and it's definitely not going to be a long-term contract. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Shots, 27.5 shots per game for Detroit, a team that's struggling to score. They're allowing 34.3 shots per game. For Columbus, they're shooting 34.1 shots per game, and they're allowing 31.6. Detroit, 8 power play goals, 8 goals against on the power play. There are 6 power play goals for Columbus, and they've allowed 9. So yes, Columbus's power play is hurting them. They've allowed 9 power play goals against them. That's a differential of -3, which sometimes is all the difference it takes to take a team from a really good record to just a decent one. 6-4 is not bad, but this is a big game tonight for Columbus. Columbus needs to win this. Consistency's been an issue for Columbus. Detroit on the road is 1-4-1. Columbus at home is 3-3, and that's that consistency problem. And probably because it's early in the season, there are some teams with some questionable road records and questionable home records. Questionably good road records, to be honest. Calgary 4-3, Islanders 4-3. That's kind of strange, because you look at their overall records and you realize, oh, so they're about the same at home. I think with the way that teams travel now, and with familiarity everybody seems to have, and buildings all kind of being built very similarly, I think home ice advantage means less now than what it used to. It's not completely wiped out, but it's not what it used to be. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who wins this one tonight, because while Detroit is fully buried, okay, I'm not saying Detroit's going to come back and make the playoffs. There is some pride on the line here. This is a team that wants to get their share of goals, because guys want to be able to make their money not just this year but next year. And in order to do that, you've got to get some stats to go with that. So I don't think they've mailed it in. I don't think they have what it takes to make the playoffs, but I do think that they can win a game like this. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. New Jersey 5-2-1 in against Tampa 7-2-1. So Tampa got shelled by Arizona. It's one game. It's a one-off. But it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight, because New Jersey's coming in. New Jersey is a pretty good team. Now, officially, this is only New Jersey's second road game of the year, because, of course, they played the series with Edmonton at the start of the year, where it was home and home. It really wasn't. Neither of them were at home. But anyways, so this is technically the second road game of the year for New Jersey, whose leading scorers: Palmieri with 8 goals and 5 assists, Hall with 2 goals and 9 assists, Hischier 3 goals, 5 assists, Severson 2 goals and 5 assists, Zajac with 2 goals, 3 assists, Boyle with 3 goals and an assist, and Vatanen and Butcher with 4 assists each. Now, on the Tampa Bay side of things, it's surprising how scoring is becoming an issue for Tampa Bay. Braden Point, 6 goals, 3 assists, Kucherov, 3 goals, 6 assists, Miller with 3 goals, 6 assists, Yanni Gourde, 4 goals, 5 assists, Tyler Johnson, 4 goals, 3 assists, Stamkos with a goal and 4 assists, Palat with 5 assists, and Hedman 2 goals and 2 assists. In net, Kincaid's played every moment. Now, indications seem to be that Schneider could start tonight. Kincaid 2.12 goals against, 925 save percentage. I haven't verified, but it seems like from the buzz at practices lately that this is probably where Schneider gets a start, but we'll see. So yeah, Kincaid's played every minute. He's the only goalie in the league that's played every minute this year. Vasilevsky in net for Tampa, 1.83 goals against, 940 save percentage. I guarantee Vasi's in, because Domingue got shelled in his last game because they were resting Vasi. Domingue 4.00 goals against, 887 save percentage, and I imagine he wasn't very happy after that game against Arizona, either with himself or probably with certain members of his team. Shot differentials. New Jersey Devils taking 30.8 shots per game and allowing 28.9, whereas Tampa's taking 31.6 shots per game and allowing 32.6. Special teams, New Jersey is on the positive side of things. They've got 9 goals, 4 on the power play, 4 goals against while killing penalties. Tampa, 10-2. So only 2 goals against on penalty killing for Tampa Bay. That's pretty fantastic, and they've scored 10. That will help you reach your goal of making the playoffs, and we'll see if they can maintain that kind of a differential. Probably not, but we'll see. New Jersey's 0-1 on the road. You could just throw that out. That doesn't really mean anything. New Jersey is 4-1 at home. That number does. That number does mean something, and we'll see what happens tonight with that one. Next up, Minnesota. So something funny happened in Minnesota last night. They lost in Vancouver. And, you know, we can talk about Vancouver and messing up their chances for Jack Hughes, but Vancouver's an interesting team, and I'll take a look at them probably today, because there are some interesting things going on there. But Minnesota lost last night, and now they go into Edmonton, and the Oilers are on a hot streak. The Oilers really rightfully should feel like probably the best team in the Pacific. They should go out there tonight playing like we are the best team in the Pacific. We're going to show it. The Oilers 6-3-1, so they only sit 1 point back of San Jose with 1 game in hand. They may very well be right about being the best team in the Pacific, and tonight's a good chance to show it. Minnesota coming off of that loss last night. Parise is still their leading scorer with 3 goals, 8 assists. Granlund, 5 goals, 4 assists. Suter, I knew that was going to happen. See, they're right back-to-back, right? Suter, 2 goals, 7 assists. Zucker, 4 goals and 4 assists. So it's Suter and Zucker, or Zucker and like. It's hard not to say Suter and Zucker and picture them as like a tandem in like Mickey Mouse cartoons. Anyways, Stahl, 3 goals, 4 assists. That'll be a meme. Koivu, 2 goals, 4 assists. Dumba, 3 goals, 2 assists. And Coyle, 2 goals and 3 assists to round out the top 8. On the Edmonton side of things, McDavid, of course, leads them in scoring. 8 goals, 9 assists, 17 points in 10 games for McDavid. Because there's players like Rantanen with 21 points right now, we're not looking as much at McDavid and realizing just what amazing totals he's putting up there. But the fact that when I'm talking about fast starts yesterday, I don't have McDavid with 17 points in 10 games and say, that seems like a fast start. That's really all you need to know. Right behind him is Nugent Hopkins with 3 goals, 9 assists. Draisaitl, 6 goals, 5 assists. Darnell Nurse with a goal and 4 assists. Toby Reeder, 5 assists. Lucic, a goal and 3 assists. Clefbaum, 4 assists. Chason, 3 goals for him. So from number 4 through number 8 on the scoring, there's 5 goals between them, and 3 of them are Alex Chason. Yeah, nobody would have believed that at the start of the year. And yet, they're in a playoff position right now. Nobody would have believed that either. Not with these kinds of numbers. In net, Dubnyk, 2.19 goals against now and a .937 save percentage. That's down 8 points from where it was at the start of last night. Stalock, 3.45 goals against, .879 save percentage. It will be interesting to see if Dubnyk starts 2 games in a row, especially back-to-back. I would imagine Stalock tonight. Again, I haven't looked at the previews of who's playing who in net. Talbot, 2.67 goals against, .909 save percentage. He's played well the last few games, definitely. Koskinen, 3.05 goals against and an .889 save percentage. Shot differentials, 31.1 shots per game by Minnesota, 34.6 shots against by Minnesota. The Edmonton Oilers, 29.9 shots for, 29.5 shots against for the Oilers. Goal differentials on special teams. Minnesota scored 5 power play goals. They've allowed 7. Edmonton has scored 9, and they've allowed 8. On the road, Minnesota's now 1-3. That's looking like a Dallas-type number, except the 1 part. And the Oilers 2-1-1 at home. So the Oilers have been better on the road than at home. Again, it's early in the season, but we're seeing this a lot right now. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of team shows up for Edmonton tonight. I honestly think with the momentum they've picked up, I think they can ride this for a while. But the NHL, the parity being as strong as it is, I can't make that with that prediction with any certainty at all. Finally, last but not least, the thing to resistance, the Philadelphia Flyers, 4-7. I remember at one point, I remember seeing a Photoshop logo of Philly where this part of the P is a tire and it's on fire. And I'm sure that one's starting to make its way around again. The Anaheim Ducks, 5-2. I don't know if you can render something where this is on fire, but this might be a game where both teams feel like they're on fire, which is not good in this case. It's not like the Oilers feel like we're on fire, we can win anything. This is, we're on fire, please send for help. And in Philly's case, it might be, can the GM play net right now? It's not all on the goaltenders, though. Absolutely not all on the goaltenders, as any Philly fan will tell you from whatever counseling session that they're in today. Voracek, 3 goals, 9 assists for him. Giroux, 3 goals, 8 assists. Simmons with 6 goals and an assist. Lawton with 4 goals and an assist. Konechny, 2 goals, 3 assists. Haig with 2 goals, 3 assists. Gudas and Sanheim both have 5 assists for the Philadelphia Flyers. And Gudas being on the board is good for him and bad for the team, because he's not. If you're getting scoring from him that you're not getting from other defensemen, that's probably a bad sign that you're not playing well. And 4-7 says, yeah, they're not playing well. Anaheim, their leading scorer is still Silverberg, despite the fact that he's missed some time now. 3 goals, 4 assists for him. Comtois, Getzlaf, Raquel, and Lindholm all have 2 goals and 5 assists. So there's synergy on Anaheim, just not finish. Henrique with 3 goals, 2 assists. Street with 3 goals, 3 assists for Henrique. Ben Street, still on the board, 3 goals, 2 assists. And Kessler, 3 goals and 1 assist. Goaltending, Elliott, 3.39 goals against, .886 save percentage. I would be very surprised if he doesn't start tonight. He's been getting better. He has. Pickard, 4.73 goals against, .833 save percentage. And the now healthy, probably wishing that he had something else to do, Michael Neuwirth, 6.00 goals against and a .727 save percentage. Not great numbers. Just not. But again, you ask Philly fans, they'll tell you, yeah, the goaltending hasn't been great, but man, you got to see that defense. On the Anaheim side of things, the brick walls have been showing cracks, and I think it's because of the amount of shots they're facing, and we'll get to that in a second. Gibson, 2.44 goals against, 938 save percentage. Miller, 2.17 goals against, 938 save percentage for him as well. And I'll also point out that part of the reason why Gibson has struggled to get actual Vezina votes has been that his backups are usually pretty good. So people will look and go, well, yeah, his numbers are great, but so are his backups. So that's the defense. That's what'll happen. They'll look and go, that's team defense more than it's just about him. You watch an Anaheim game this year, realize both Miller and Gibson are under siege when they play. Shot differentials. Philly's taking 30.5 shots per game. They're allowing 29. So the fact that their record's bad, their goaltending numbers are bad, and they're getting more shots than they're allowing, that's an issue. Anaheim is getting 24.5 shots per game, and they're allowing 39.1 shots per game. Here's a fun fact. That's league worst in both. They are taking the fewest number of shots per game, and they're allowing the most shots per game of any team in the National Hockey League. So if you're an Anaheim fan and you've been watching and probably drinking and thinking this seems like it's really bad, that's because it is. And they're not getting the wins anymore, so that kind of makes it worse. Goal differentials on special teams, 6 power play goals for Philly. They've allowed 13. 5 power play goals for Anaheim, and they've allowed 8. So both teams might just take a pass on that whole penalty killing thing tonight and just say, just don't call any penalties. Just let us just go out there and mangle each other. Because both Philly and Anaheim have had reputations over the years for that. For having players that maybe cross that line. Your Broad Street Bullies in the 70s, for example, in the 2007 Anaheim Ducks were known for their truculence. And their GM would tell you about their truculence. On the road, Philly's 2-3, which sounds bad, but it's better than they are at home. It's better than their home record. Their home record's 2-5. And Anaheim is 2-1-2 at home, which is not great. That means they've only won 2 out of 5 at home. So somebody has to win. This is the game where somebody has to win, and it'll be interesting to see who it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.